You can see it before they even make the stroke. Bouncing and poor distance control. Big miss to the right, our left from the camera perspective. Miss to the left. If you're making any of these 5 setup strokes, you're probably missing the putt before you even start. The good news, in this video, I'm going to show you how to identify and fix the 5 biggest setup mistakes that you make that cause you to sabotage and miss your putts. So stick around and let's get you set up to holing more putts. So before a round of golf the other day, I walked out on the practice green with my buddy and a camera, and I watched other golfers warming up, and just based on their setup, I would say to my buddy, they're going to miss it right, they're going to miss it left and all that. Yeah, you can see all of that. We're going to talk about how to fix those big setup mistakes and get you making more putts. These are in no particular order, but the last one is a very common mistake that you'll want to stick around for because you probably make it and you don't even realize that you're doing this. One of the big mistakes that I see is a lot of people put the ball too far forward in their stance. Here's an example. Set up, and you'll notice this ball is inside here on my left heel. And that's way forward in the stance. And what happens is, because your putting stroke naturally arcs like a swing set, higher, low, higher, you put the ball too far ahead of the low point, like I've done here, too far forward in the stance, and you're swinging up on the ball, which means you either top it, and that's as bad as topping a tee shot, or you lift it, launch it into the air, and it gets bouncing and hopping offline instead of rolling, which holds it truest to the line. The solution to that is simply take your setup. You want the ball, not necessarily the putter, because if you play a mallet, it's thicker than a blade, but you want the ball middle of your stance. So right now, the ball is aligned on my zipper. I want to be ever so slightly forward of the center, so I'm going to go about half a ball back. In other words, if this is the center of my staff, right in line with the zipper, I'm going to go here or maybe that much, half a ball in front. You want the ball slightly forward of center because your center should be the low point, and then you're going to strike the ball with your putter face moving upward ever so slightly, which gets the ball rolling. Second big mistake that I see a lot of people make is an alignment mistake, and I'm going to try to show you this one from both sides. But we get set up, we're pointed at the target, but just because most of us who are right-handed are right eye dominant, we tend to have our shoulders open. Now I feel like my feet and my knees are aligned at the target, which is the camera lens, but my shoulders are pointed over here. And that means I'm automatically going to pull that putt to the left, or I'm going to develop, even worse than pulling it, is I'm going to develop a stroke habit. Oh, I know I miss everything to the left, so I'm going to push it out to the right. The solution to that is to fix your shoulder alignment so that your feet and your shoulders are absolutely square and aligned with your target line. Now, to fix your shoulder alignment and make sure your feet, your knees, your hips, and your shoulders are all aligned to the target, there are tons of things we can talk about, but you need to work on that. The greatest way to fix that is with the online course that I did called How to Putt the Right Way, which we spend tons of videos on that and everything setup related so that you're aimed your putts on the right line and you roll them square because you're set up square to the line. A third huge mistake that I see is people set up with their putter not aligned so that the center of the putter face is striking the ball. And they usually do this. This is players who play a blade style putter or players who play a putter that doesn't have an alignment aid right in the top dead center of the putter. because what happens is you stand over the ball and you're looking down, and the shaft of the putter obscures part of the putter head. And so what you think standing over the ball is the center of the putter face is actually out towards the toe of the putter, and you don't even realize that. And that causes you to have problems with speed and distance control, also causes you to have problems with pushing putts out to the right. And that's why a lot of golfers do that. Now the solution here is to make certain, if you don't have alignment aid on the very top center of your putter, that you understand where that is, that you learn to do and develop that. A great way to do that is put 2 tees down on the ground just the width of your putter, and then you stand up and make putts with that gait. And the thing is, you've got to hit the ball in the center or the putter won't go through there. Another thing that you can do is, you can practice this indoors with a gait drill. In the video here, I've got it set up on my indoor putting green with a couple of glasses for a gait drill. And I'm just putting between those cups. And at this distance, I'm 6 feet putts, and I've got the glasses 17 inches in front of the putter, and they're just barely wider than the golf ball. I have to hit the ball on the center of the face to get it through there. You want to start striking the ball on the center of the face, do this drill 5 minutes once a day for about a week, and you'll start to get a feel for striking the ball pure on the center of the putter face, because if you don't, it will not go between the gate. So try that, it'll make a big difference for you. Now let's get to the last two, and the last one again, it's going to blow your mind how many people make this mistake. Now, a fourth big mistake that I see people make in their setup is with regards to hand position. And there are 2 mistakes that we make relative to hand position. The first one here relative to hand position is I see a lot of golfers set up with their hands behind the ball. Now you combine this with the ball way too forward in your stance like we talked about earlier, and you have a huge problem. The putter face angles are all off. It'll be open or closed depending on how you grip it, and it will certainly be lofted too much. Your proper setup, ball just barely forward of the center, which is just slightly forward of the low spot. And notice my putter has, with the shaft, a rotational angle that builds in a little bit of a forward press. And so my hands are actually just pretty close to being dead center over the ball. That's where you want your hands over the ball. And you don't make, I see some people make way too big of a forward press, and now they're pounding the ball into the ground and it bounces like that. You don't want to do that either. Other mistake that I see people make relative to hand position is that they stand too far away from the ball, and so their hands are out here and the toe of the putter is up. Maybe I'll come around this way so you can see that better. They're too far away from the ball and their hands are out here so that the toe of the putter is up in the air. And the problem with that is you're aimed right, uncontrollably right. Now I know people say, oh, there's lots of good putters who putt with the toe up, most notably Tiger Woods. Yeah, but his son Charlie says he has a hook stroke to his putting, and he certainly does putt with the toe up and then closes the face a lot with his wrist. Let me just tell you, that works for him, but he's Tiger Woods and you're not. You and I need to putt with our putter flat to the ground, no toe up, no heel up. And the other key thing, and this is the even more important part with that, I want to be putting with my hands hanging directly below my shoulders. Really important that I have my hands under my shoulders, because my hands too far inside and here, I've got no room to swing and I get really wristy. I pull and push putts and I'm inconsistent. My hands too far out here and I'm swinging around, and my timing has to be absolutely perfect or I can never hit it straight on line. But if I have my hands simply hanging directly under my shoulders, then it's natural. I've got plenty of room to make a stroke without stretching, without having to manipulate the putter face. without having to do anything but simply make a stroke. So make certain in your setup that you position yourself so that your hands are hanging directly under your shoulders. Great way to make sure that you've got the hand position right, and I'll turn this way so you can see that, is set up so that your arms, your forearm, is an extension of the putter shaft. There's no twist here with angles or here with angles, but it's set up with that. And then you can see I'm connected here, but my forearm is a straight extension of the putter shaft. I see a lot of people with the shaft of the putter pointed here at their belt buckle. Hard to make a good stroke that way. You want the shaft of the putter pointed more up here at your sternum, at your chest. And I'll give it to you this angle so you see it. So a lot of people with the shaft pointed here at belt buckle. No, you want the shaft so that your arms are straight extension of that putter shaft. So not here, but here. One more thing on the hand position, and this is more of a stroke thing than it is, but it's related to setup, and we'll talk about stroke in the next video in this series. By the way, we came inside because the wind's blowing a million miles an hour outside, and that really hurts the sound. But it's hands moving in a different direction from the putter head. I see so many times people start their stroke and then they start the hands forward, but the putter head's still going backwards. Changes your angles, causes misses, pushes, pulls, not a good strike, and which means you lose distance control. And also the ball is bouncing and not rolling. So you want to be in your setup where the putter is an extension of your forearms, like this, where it's straight, and then you don't want to lose that during your stroke. And if you set up with it wrong, where hands are down here and you've got an angle, or hands are too far up here and it's not a straight extension, forearms and putter shaft, then you're going to get where the putter head is moving one way, like this, and your hands are going the other way. It gets really wristy. One way to fix that is with setup. In the next video, we'll show you how to fix it with your stroke. But that's another hand issue with setup. Last of these 5 setup mistakes is using your pointer finger or your index finger down the line of the putter shaft. I see a lot of people doing this. They've got that finger down and they're using that finger. And I understand why you do that. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to use this index finger, kind of use that as my target to help drive the ball, push the ball, roll the ball straight at the target. The problem is, think about it, we don't do anything else that way other than putting. If you grabbed a hammer, you wouldn't put your index finger on the hammer handle and go like this. No, you'd grab it with your finger under your grip, where your thumbs are down the shaft, but not your fingers. I use a hammer like this. Can you imagine me trying to use a hammer? I just lose control of it and it wobbles. So take that finger off the putter shaft, that index finger, and put it around the putter grip. It will make a huge difference. It'll blow your mind how much that'll change your consistency. And most of you don't even realize you're making that mistake. In the online course system that I created and put information for in the video description, there is a ton of help, more than 30 videos on the setup, 5 or 6 videos specifically on all kinds of tricks to get your shoulder position square and your alignment and your aiming properly, so that you won't have these setup errors that sabotage your putts. So try these simple fixes to correct the 5 biggest setup errors, and you'll stop missing putts before you've even taken the stroke, which means you'll start making a lot more. And if you like making a lot more into the hole, then you ought to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and check out this video on the screen now. And until next time, here's to you making more putts.